Hello, and welcome to the results of the more expensive haul of the Bookfest. I may have gone a bit over the top, I'll admit it. There was a certain amount of unwise purchasing. I mean, unwise in a sense, I guess. So I now own over 300 books that I haven't read, but hey, everyone needs hobbies, right? So here's a rundown on some of the books I got. I'll go fast because there's a lot of them. I'll try and go fast. And there's a few more. I think I'm a little bit over book hauling at the moment, so this might be the last one for a while. I got a beautiful little copy of Arthur C. Clarke's The Lion of Comer and Against the Fall of Light by Corgi. Really like that cover, and it's an Arthur C. Clarke. I don't have Tanith Lee, Shadowfire. One of the Tanith Lees I don't have. I'm trying to collect all the Tanith Lees because they're so rare and hard to find. I have got several of Simon Hawke's Timekeeper books, but I didn't have the Innkeeper Conspiracy, and I didn't have the Pimpernel Plot. And I found them both in similar livery, and I was quite happy about that. I think I'm now missing only one of the Simon Hawke Time Wars. A.E. Van Vogt. Some of you may realise that I read a couple of A.E. Van Vogts recently. Computer World, which I very much enjoyed. The Wizard of Lynn, which I didn't, but I'm not letting it put me off Van Vogt. And I got And E. Main Hull, The Winged Man. I love that cover. It's a bit faded, but I really love the artwork on that pyramid. Don't know what's happening there, but it's over an ocean, so that's promising. And I got a beautiful little pan lozenge of the Anarchistic Colossus, which I don't think I've ever read. So if you have, tell me what you think of it. Tell me if that should be my next Van Vogt. I think there's going to be another Van Vogt soon. There were quite a few really old books there and unusual ones. And The Complete Werewolf by Anthony Boucher is a sphere which I don't think I've ever seen before. And I had a little bit of a look through a couple of the stories and they look good. I could be up for some good old-fashioned werewolf as opposed to the new underworld style. Alan Dean Foster, The Eye Inside. Well, I love Alan Dean Foster in general. I don't always love him writing books about movies, but I haven't seen that one before. I've got high hopes. Elizabeth A. Lynn, Watchtower. I do actually have another book of these. I have, I think, all the Watchtowers by A. Lynn, though I haven't read them recently. I just really loved the cover for this. This is a beautiful cover and by Hamlin, and which I'm going to get rid of my first one, which isn't anywhere near as nice. I found a couple of Anne McCaffrey's that I don't have. I think I've got all her Pern books, but I don't have To Ride Pegasus. And though I know I've used to have it and have read it, it's been a very long time. It's a great cover. Beautiful little sphere in good condition, so I was happy with that one. And I also found Decision at Doona. Last year I was all set to reread Decision at Doona, and I was surprised and perplexed and unhappy to find that I don't own it anymore. So now I do, and I will read it again. Two last selections were from Philip Ose Farmer. Day World, which I have apparently never read, my sister tells me, and Day World Rebel, which is the next in the series. I wasn't going to get them. I've got quite a lot of Farmer, and I don't seem to be getting through them fast, but my sister's distress at me not taking the opportunity to read Day World, which was apparently one of her favourite books. I have them. I shall read them. Greg Bear. Now, isn't Blood Music the one I really want to find? But Greg Bear is hard to find in Australia. Now, when he first started writing, I guess, you did see a lot of Greg Bear in the op shops, but you don't anymore. And back then, I had somehow acquired the notion that he was a New Age writer, like Grandfather Owl or something like that, and so I avoided all his books. I never even picked them up. And I'm hearing so much about them that I think I should read some Bear. Now, there's someone out there, and I think it might be Chris at Liminal Spaces, who's recently been talking about Susan Cooper's The Darkest Rising series. Once again, I was surprised to find that while I used to have them, I only have Greenwich. For some reason, that's the only one I kept. And so I have spent money to reacquire them. And here is Silver on the Tree in a puffin book. It's not the best cover for the series, but not too bad. There's Seaward, again, it's Puffin, or Penguin, one of those, I think it's Puffin. Much better cover if you ask me. And finally, The Dark is Rising, also in Penguin, Puffin, is also early in the series with an absolutely horrific cover. But The Dark is Rising is the second written and technically the first in the series. I have to read this one if I'm going to get back into the series. So despite that appalling cover, I bought it. I could have got the whole series in that cover, but it's so ugly. So ugly. I don't even think I can keep hold of it after I finished reading it. Norman Spinrad, Songs from the Stars. I've got a couple of Spinrads and I'm due to reread a couple, but I don't have this one. And it's Spinrad, hit or miss, but I'm willing to find out which one this is. Ooh, here we have a couple of beautiful little pan lozenges. Christopher Priest, you either don't see any or you see a lot, so I took this opportunity to grab them when I could find them. Fugue from a Diaconing Island was actually on my list of books that I really, really did want to read, so I was very thrilled to find this one. It wasn't a cheap book by any means, but I think it's worth it. And I've also got an Infinite Summer with some, again, that beautiful lozenge art. I never really paid too much attention to who published them, but I'm really liking those pan lozenges. There was a fair bit of Marion Zimmer Bradley there. I didn't go too far into them, but I did grab Two to Conquer. That was one that I believe I haven't read at all, so I'll give that a go. Heinlein, hit or miss for many people. Usually a hit for me. I got Rocket Ship Galileo in this beautiful old cover, and in really, really good condition. This is one of the ones that actually belonged in the high-end part of Bookfest. A lot of these ones really didn't. And also by Heinlein, Space Cadet in that wonderful Glance hardcover, which is about the only hardcover I really like. But I really like the Glance hardcover science fiction editions for $10. Let's just not think about that, please. Okay, a few of the strange ones. Another strange Edmund Cooper that I have never before seen or heard of. News from Elsewhere in a very, very old and slightly wrinkly book, which I'm looking forward to very much. Antigrav, edited by Philip Strick, by Arrow, has got nice cover art and it's got a really interesting selection of stories. I was having a glance through them. You've got Stanislaw Lem, you've got a James Blish I haven't read, and Ron Goulart. I haven't gone back to Ron Goulart recently, and I'm looking forward to it. I have here another really, really old science fiction by Eric C. Williams, The Desolators. I have to admit, no matter what, the content of this book, the cover, and the age of it are so good that I really couldn't resist. In the same genre, type, whatever, Pan Books Time Slip. Apparently there's a TV series. My younger sister remembers it. I have no memory of it whatsoever. And the photographs make it look really, really naff. I think it was the 70s. Yeah, I was happy to get that one. The Galaxy Builder by Keith Lormer. I used to have this. I don't have it anymore. I've been meaning to reacquire it, and now I have. Another lovely pan lozenge, Aldous Frankenstein Unbound. I was so excited to find this one. It's beautiful, and I've been looking for this specific book to reread for some time now. I don't remember it at all. Arcturus Landing by Gordon R. Dixon. I'm very fond of Dixon. I haven't read this one before, or if I have, it was so far before 2010 that I have no memory. Robert Silverberg, Night Wings. There was some discussion about this one. I nearly didn't take it, but again, it's one my sister read. I think this is one my sister read, or maybe her husband, and they liked it, and I bought it on speculation. I do like Silverberg, don't remember that one. Okay, there was a lot of Stapleford. It's like, again, you either see heaps or you don't see any. Brian M. Stapleford, I haven't read any recently. Maybe make 2025 the year I read more. Maybe one of these. Wild Blood's Empire, great cover. City of the Sun with another great cover. And finally, The Paradox of the Sets. The Paradox of the Sets is in the least good condition, And funnily enough, they were all the same price, because that's what Lifeline is doing these days. And I found this really weird. Apparently, Australia once had a magazine called Aurelius, Australian Fantasy and Science Fiction. Never heard of it myself, don't know anyone who has. But despite the fact that the paper is cheap and squeaky and shiny, I'll give it a go. There's a few authors in there that I know and you're hard to find, and there's a few I've never heard of. Out of the Silent Planet by C.S. Lewis. If I read this, it was a very long time ago, and I've been hearing a lot about it recently from various sources. I want to reread it. I want to see if it's as Christian as everyone claims. Okay, that was it for the Lifeline Bookfest High Division Haul. I spent way more there than I should have. I'm going to have to calm it down next year, and I have to read at least some of these before I buy any more books. However, it wasn't the first time I bought a book in January, so I'm going to show you those. These are ones I found in the wild while I was out and about. You've got this really heavy volume, the Locus Awards, with a whole heap of short stories. And my goal for 2025 is to read more short stories of classic science fiction. This one has Jane Wolfe, Ursula Le Guin, John Varley, a George R.R. Martin, and a Joanna Rush, Bruce Sterling, a whole heap of other ones. I found Neil Asher somewhere, I can't remember where. I was happy about that. I like Neil Asher. I haven't read this one. Robert Louis Stevenson, Kidnapped. I have been meaning to buy this book for some time, and the fact that I found it in this beautiful edition and got it home, and I was so excited, and then I found I had found it already recently. I like this cover art better, so my old edition of Kidnapped is probably the one that's going to go. Murder in Time by Elizabeth Ferrars, yet another nice old penguin crime. I really got into them last year, so I'll keep on reading them. Frank Herbert, author of Dune, they want us to know, also wrote Santaroga Barrier. It looked really good. I like the actual book, and I actually, don't get me wrong, I love Dune. I think it's a great book, but I actually liked Herbert's Whipping Stars and some of his other books better. So I should start trying to find more Herbert that isn't Dune. And oh look, yet another author of Dune, The Heaven Makers. Great book. This is stunning. I'm pretty sure I found this at the markets. Really, really beautiful old copy in nice condition. I might even read this next. And yet another A.E. Van Vogt, Moon Beast. It's chancy when I've got this many books that I haven't processed yet. I rely on a little index and Goodreads to tell me which books I have, and between the two, if I don't update them fairly regularly, I make mistakes. So from now on, I'm going to be updating all these, and also, but wait, there's more. Did anyone ever see that ad in Australia where the guy's head explodes from a tomato slice or something? No, of course you don't. Still, if you do know that ad, tell me. Last year I was a member of a QBD book club. I'll do a whole video about QBD membership and whether it's worth it, I think, soon. But in this last box I got a Masterworks edition of Roadside Picnic. Everyone's talking about it. I couldn't resist. And I've been trying to get together all the William Gibsons that I don't have, so I got a new copy of Spook Country, which I have read, and Agency, which I have also read, but neither of which do I own. I would have liked the old liveries better, but now I have them, and William Gibson is getting increasingly difficult to find anywhere. So I was losing hope of finding them as second-hand, which is my favourite. So, yes. Anyway. Massive, massive book haul. Over 300 books now to read. I'd better get on with that. Tell me if you know any of the books out of this haul that you're particularly excited about or particularly hate. Tell me why, and maybe that'll bring them either further up the tier of reading or further down the tier of reading. And in the meantime, go away, read good books, and hopefully this is the last haul you'll see from me for a long time, and I'll let my credit card recover. See ya!